let me do that one more time. This is Interviewing Caesar, Interviewing Shakespeare, and I'm your host. I will be interviewing the two main protagonists from Julius Caesar, and we'll start with Marcus Junius Brutus, more commonly known as Brutus. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Brutus. First of all, Brutus, do you mind me calling you Brutus?
Oh, my friends call me B, but you can call me Brutus.
Okay. First of all, that was a great speech you just gave. Can I ask you, who came up with the idea to assassinate Julius Caesar? Was it you?
It was not me, actually. It was Cassius and his some of the other senators. The reality was I was very reticent to get involved in such a plot. However, I did recognize that the reasons for doing so far outweighed any hesitations on my part.
Thank you. It's been reported that you actually changed your mind or changed your decision based on some letters of support that were given for the assassination plot. But it's also been said that those, in fact, were forgeries. Would you like to comment on that?
There has been discussion among many people that these letters don't exist, or as they say, forgeries, or even, I think the word they have nowadays is fake news. However, they do exist, I can assure you, that they do exist, and letters were exchanged among members within the Senate.
Thank you. You are, of course, one of Julius Caesar's closest friends. In fact, he almost treated you like a son. This must have been very painful for you. Can you please describe your feelings?
I love Caesar. He said he loved me as a son. I loved him as a friend, as a colleague. The reality is, Caesar was not good for the Republic. He had become now a force unto himself, speaking for himself, for the good of himself, when in fact such things, I know these things are tough on to handle, aren't they? But the importance, however, is that the Republic had to be saved, had to be preserved. The will of the people, the security and sanctity of the people and the Republic was far more outweighs any one person. And it came to a situation where Caesar had to go.
Thank you. Do you believe, after your speech, that the Republic is now safe?
Safety is not something you can say with any kind of finality for anything. It is an ongoing process. But yes, it's a daily concern for any republic to be safe, to be secure. And we have moved in that step. We've moved in that, taken a step in that direction. However, we do need to be vigilant and to maintain security as an ongoing process.
Thank you. That's interesting point of view. So you believe your speech was successful in persuading the people as a whole that what you did was honorable?
Caesar, you cannot have it. Pardon me. Caesar cannot be a dictator. He is not the Republic. The people are the Republic. I don't enjoy doing what we had to do, but it was necessary. One might call it a necessary evil, but it was necessary.
Thank you. Finally, I noticed at the end of your speech you gave Marc Antony a chance to refute what you said and a chance to speak to the audience directly. Do you regret that? Do you think that was a mistake?
Marc Antony is a great general, a superb general, and we're very lucky to have him. When it comes to oratory, I think I outdo him on that. He's a fine man, but I think I excel in terms of oratory. Generals lead men into battle. Oratory leads people to the future.
Thank you very much, Brutus. Can we please have a big hand for Brutus? Thank you. For the second interview tonight, I'd like to pass the microphone over to Jeannie Lee. Please join me in welcoming Jeannie.
Our second guest for this evening is Marcus Antonius, commonly known as Marc Antony or simply Anthony. Marc Antony is known as a great general and a supporter of Julius Caesar. Please join me in welcoming Marc Antony. Good evening, Anthony. Do you mind me calling you Anthony?
You can call me anything, but don't ever call me late for dinner.
Can I call you A?
You can call me A.
Anthony, first of all, this has been an extremely emotional day for you. First, with the death of your close friend, Julius Caesar, and second, with the speech that you just gave to the people of Rome. Can I start by asking you how you felt when you first heard about Caesar's assassination?
Oh, I was heartbroken. He was a great friend of mine and a great Roman. I feel that I really feel that the people as a whole need to know the truth about Caesar and what he actually was.
Now, did you listen to Brutus's speech to the people? And if you did, what did you think of it?
Brutus is a great orator, a great speaker. I'm not quite sure I was fully on board with everything he was saying, but a great speaker.
Okay, and interesting. Now, let's move on to who do you feel is the leader of the organization? Do you think it was Brutus or do you think it was Cassius?
Oh, definitely it was Cassius. There's no question at all in my mind at all. Cassius is a manipulator. He needed to get the people on his side, the rest of the Senate on his side. He knew he couldn't carry it off on his own. He knew he needed someone like Brutus, and so therefore he used Brutus to actually bring it to the fore.
All right. Now, when you listened to Brutus's speech right the way through, and when it came to the end of the speech, were you surprised that Brutus let you speak to the audience? And do you feel that maybe that was a big mistake?
How do I say this? From my point of view, no, that wasn't a mistake. I think Brutus underestimated what I was going to be able to say, and I believe that I used my speech not to refute or disagree with what he'd said, but rather to put questions in people's minds.
Well, I'm glad you brought up your speech, because I must be honest, I was very impressed by your use of emphasis and inflection to change the meaning of certain words. Perhaps you can talk a little bit more about that here.
Yes, you're talking about the word honourable, aren't you? Yeah, basically, my concept is very simple. The word honourable can be used in three different ways. If I say that Brutus is honourable, and I do it flatly like that, that is implying that he is indeed honourable. If, on the other hand, I use the question mark and I say Brutus is honourable, I'm setting a seed of doubt in the mind of the audience. And if I use the word honourable aggressively, like honourable, then in fact I'm being sarcastic. I'm being the opposite. I'm saying he's not honourable. That's the way I worked it.
Totally going off on a tangent here. Have you heard of Toastmasters? Because they really emphasize communication skills and the use of emphasis and inflection in conveying your feelings.
That's very interesting. Actually, I have heard of Toastmasters. I believe they're quite a good organisation, but I'm afraid they really don't come into play yet because they're 2,000 years in the future.
Right, now moving back to what we were talking about. Halfway through your speech, you did talk about Caesar's will. Now, it was rather convenient that this will existed, because it kind of supported your point of view and the points that you were trying to make in your speech.
Implying that I made the will up, I invented it?
I am not implying anything. I'm not questioning its validity. I'm just saying it was very convenient that it occurred at that point in time to use your inflections and emphasis.
Okay, I'll take that in the way it's intended. Yes, it was convenient, but it did exist. It is a valid will, and in fact, what was in the will was Caesar's hopes and wishes for the future of Rome.
Well, that about brings us to the end of our podcast for this evening. Just one last question. It has been said that today's occurrences mark the end of the Roman Republic. Can you say anything to that?
Yes, indeed. I think I can. I actually believe that the Republic died 15 years ago, when Julius Caesar first came to power in the first place. I think the future of Rome as a whole and the Roman Empire is more important than the Republic itself. And I believe that in a few years' time, that will actually change, and we will actually move forward with a solid and strong empire. And that will be the biggest empire the world has ever known. And yes, I believe this is the end of the Roman Republic.
Okay, and on that optimistic note, I'd like to thank you, Anthony, for your time tonight on Interviewing Shakespeare. Please, a big round of applause for Marc Antony.